Welcome everyone to the Holman's podcast. My name is Bianca and this is my husband,
Ross.
Today we're doing this podcast for the very first time. I basically had a brilliant idea last night and I was like, hey Ross, what are the things that we need to put on a podcast? And I knew for a fact that I didn't put any type of budget into this, coming into this, or even thinking about it. And I was like, we have a warehouse, an office full of equipment because of your job. And I was like, we have the skill set, we talk all the time. And I feel like every time we talk, whether that's in the car, in our bedroom, or even the freaking restroom, I just think that our conversations have so much meaning and a really good advice to other people. And I was like, hey, let's put it all in a podcast. Let's talk about it. I've been wanting to do this for so long, but I never really put the start button into it until today. So thank you so much for literally helping me build this whole set.
Ta-da!
I hope you guys love this beautiful architectural piece that I actually got for my husband. And so let's dive into it. Ross, please give me some introduction of who you are so that every one of our viewers, all of our family and friends know a little something about you.
My name's Ross, and I do a lot of different things. I love creating things, whether it's being a filmmaker. I love songwriting and singing and being a music artist. I enjoy running my company, Local Boy, where I do audio-visual work. I enjoy growing our social media presence at Life at Home, at Local Boy, at Arcadia Smith. And I love being the father of our 4 dogs, 5 dogs, so many dogs.
We can't even count.
And, jack of all trades, I do it all.
Perfect. Tell me, where are you from and what made you come here in California?
I was born in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and then I moved and I grew up in Lancaster, Wisconsin. Population just over 4,000. Not too many people there, but I can tell you that it's a great community. A lot of wonderful people that I met growing up there. And once I graduated high school, I packed up my Hyundai Tiburon, and my best friend Stevie Dub hopped in the car with me. We packed up pretty much everything that mattered to us, and we drove out to California in pursuit of opportunity and more for ourselves.
Wow, that's amazing. It must be such a challenging experience coming into a new town with your best friend.
Yeah, right off the bat, we moved into San Bernardino, California, which I've never been to California. That was my introduction for the first 2 years.
Ooh.
I lived in San Bernardino and Highland. For anyone who's from the IE, you know what's up. Yeah, it was a huge shock for me just never seeing this many people, having expectations of what California was, never being here, always knowing that this was the place that if you went to California, it was the golden land of opportunity where people, if you went to there on vacation, whoa, man, you went to California, you got back from California. Like when I lived in Wisconsin, there was no better state in the entire United States that is more sought after, or that's more like, whatever you want to call it, the best state is California, where you want to be at. I understand it now for the weather aspect because it's gorgeous weather out here year round. But I think what really is different about it is you get presented with this version of that Hollywood paints for you. And once you get here, you realize, oh, there's just a ton of people here and there is some cool touristy stuff, but it's really just a lot of people here.
Wow. You said 4,000 people in Lancaster, is that right?
Yeah, just over 4,000. My graduating class had around 80 kids in it. Same 80 kids that I saw from preschool to graduation. And it's a small community, one where, you don't have to lock your doors really at night. You can go into a store and leave your car running.
Sounds safe.
It's incredibly safe. I could walk home from school from the youngest age I can imagine. And I would always take trips to the grocery store, hop on my go-kart, and I would drive over to the Piggly Wiggly and buy things that I wanted, and you'd be riding down the main street, on my little pedal go-kart, and no one said anything. So it was a very, very nice, neat town because there was very little crime, and everybody was genuinely nice to you. Yeah, I loved it.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
So if you break it down, we talked about this today in the car about the complicatedness of when you're breaking down your siblings, when you come from a family where there's divorce at a young age, and my father passing away, my stepmom being remarried, and my mom remarrying. It gets a little complicated when you break it down into stepbrothers, stepsisters, half, and all that good jazz. But let's just try and give you the play-by-play, shall we? So my mom and dad met. They had my sister Lacey. She's the oldest. She is 6 years older than me. And then they had my sister Ashley, who is 4 years older than me. And then they had my brother Travis, who is 2 years older than me. And then they had me in 1990. And then my parents got divorced around 1992. And that's where my dad, he actually remarried. And that's when I gained my stepbrother, Brett. I call him my brother. He's just like blood, but, just trying to break down the timeline for you. And then in 1996, that is when my dad and my stepmom, Kristen, they had Chelsea, my half-sister.
Wow.
And so right from there, that would be your 3 sisters and your 2 brothers.
Yeah.
And then from there, if you want to open up the hatchet even more, my mom has since been remarried, so I have some more stepbrothers and sisters there. And then my father passed away in 2002, and my stepmom has since remarried, and so I also have some other stepbrothers there. It's a big family, and yeah, that's what I grew up. That's my brothers and sisters for you.
Wow, you have basically a really big family too, huh?
Yeah.
And any nieces and nephews?
Yes, actually, it's starting to become a bigger and bigger pool of nieces and nephews. It kicks off with Maylee. That would be my brother's daughter. She's the
Ooh.
oldest. She's actually 16 now, so she's much older now, which is so crazy to see her growing up. And then, of course, we have April, who is my sister's daughter. We also have Colton, who is my sister's son. And then we also have Jackson, who's my other sister Lacey's son. We have Leland. We have Maddie. Those are my brother's daughter and son. Man, I think I got the majority of them, but then we could branch off into others into the steps again, and it's going to keep going. But yeah, a lot of nieces and nephews. I love being the fun uncle.
Wow. It's crazy to me that you have such an experience already having all the nieces and nephews, and there's me and my little sister. So I don't have that experience yet, but I do have cousins and other family members have little ones. So I get to kind of dive into that role of like the fun auntie, I guess.
Yeah.
But
And how did you end up in California?
Funny story. Well, I was born and raised in the Philippines. My dad got an opportunity to live here in US, and his sisters were already here, so he moved here in 2005, and not long after, in 2009, he brought me, my mom, and my little sister Therese here, and basically our lives flipped. Philippines is hard, but I think the word hard is hard everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the different economics, the politics there, and how money wise is. I think that's what's different. But I think there's hardships and everything. But yeah, I came from the Philippines, so I'm bilingual, so I know how to speak, read, and write Tagalog, and I clearly speak, read, and write English, and it's pretty fun. Did some Spanish in my high school, but I don't know anything. Oh man, yeah, it's been fun. I do definitely miss Philippines, and I would love to get a home there, not to live there permanently, but possibly have a vacation home there, have some investments, open up some business, some opportunities, foundations, and kind of just see where life takes me and us. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
I love that.
My question for you, how long have you been living here in Cali now?
I moved to California in 2009.
So same year as us.
Yeah, we moved here, ironically, the exact same year. We didn't know each other in 2009, but we both moved here. I came from Wisconsin. She came from the Philippines. And yeah, 2009. I've been here now for, it's 2023. So that's 13 plus years now I've been living in California.
13 plus years of living in California, would you say that it's much different from your hometown, or what's the pros and cons that you see in here?
Yeah, it's night and day different. I mean, we can start off with just the driving. Out here, you need to be a very aggressive driver, meaning that when you hop on the freeway, you're going to go 0 up to 80 real quick, and you need to be prepared for that traffic to also stop very abruptly. Los Angeles has 4 million plus people. The Southern California, millions upon millions of people. And I don't think you'd have a million people if you took like the whole Southwest Wisconsin, that whole area. So it's so there's with that many people, there is driving is fun because you have, the way I describe it is that it's the exact same thing as back home. So let's say there's 4,000 people back home, and let's say there's 2 crazy people in your town, okay? So you just take that same equation, and now you times the number of people that are out here. So there's the same number of good people, but there's also now the same number of crazy people times a million, So it's great out here if you're chasing opportunity because there is so many people. It's very easy to be a big fish in a small pond back there in Wisconsin. But out here, you're a small fish in a very large ocean. With that comes the goods and the bads. It's amazing that if you need something, you can get it anywhere out here. Say Best Buy, for example, if you wanted to go get a computer, you could go right to a Best Buy that's going to be less than 5 minutes away from you and grab your computer. And if they don't have something you want, they can say, oh, hey, you can go to the other Best Buy. That's another 5 minutes that way. That part is really neat, having such access to so many things.
I agree.
And not only that, but especially with our food, the way that we eat, we have so many options out here that are vegan, that give us health choices. The amount of attractions that you can go visit are amazing out here. We have Disney, Six Flags, the beach, LA. When you're in California, you're less than an hour away from the mountains, from the ocean, from everything. Whereas back home, if I wanted to go to a Best Buy, that's going to be about 40 minutes away. And if that Best Buy doesn't have it, there is no other Best Buy. You're not going to another Best Buy because the next Best Buy is going to be probably 2 hours from there. And so now you're 3+ hours away from home already. That's where there's a big difference. It's really nice when you're chasing after, you're young and hungry out here, and you want to make something of yourself because there's so many people that you can try stuff on, learn things from. Even if, things don't go well, there's so many other opportunities available for you here. But with that comes a lot of what I miss is the hospitality of being back home, where people are genuinely more nice to you. They will communicate with you. They talk with you. Out here, everyone's in a rush. So when you're checking out at the grocery store, it's really how fast you can kind of get out of the way of people. And that equates over to driving. When I go back home, I'm like, whoa, these drivers are so slow. You have to settle in. It's a slower pace of living back there. But it's a beautiful thing also. I've learned to appreciate both aspects of the coin, that's for sure. How about you, going from the Philippines as compared to California and compared to Wisconsin, which you have now been to? Because I know that you had, going from the Philippines to here is totally different as well.
I mean, yeah, definitely. It's more on like culture shock as well. There's definitely a lot of people here in California, but there's also a lot of people in the Philippines. I moved here when I was still little. What I can remember is like I would be outside playing with the neighbors, and I could just like roam freely. For school, I'd wake up early in the morning. My grandma's already like sweeping outside at the house, like doing some chores already. And before school, I would like go out and help her or get some bread, fresh bread, and, eat breakfast, of course. And it's weird because, you mentioned vegan, and we are both vegan now for going to 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's, I think for me, the best thing, the decision that we've ever made, especially coming from someone that eats literally like meat and fish every single day. I could probably like name less than 5 things on top of my head that are not even like, that are like vegan, not vegan food.
I get what you mean. If you go to the Filipino restaurant, there's not many vegan options.
No.
You're gonna get rice.
Yeah, rice. It's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and we do have some weird food, but I think that's also in a lot of different cultures. It's Philippines is somewhere where for you it's very humbling. It's very slow paced. Philippines is like it's a lot of hard work. All I remember is like my family pushing themselves to work hard to have a better life. And I think that same with you is California or US is the dream to come here to have a better opportunity. I'm very lucky and privileged to be able to have the opportunity where my family was able to move here, but I think that I wouldn't be where I am today if I also didn't work hard.
Yeah.
And also, I also had to struggle, face some challenges and everything just like everyone else. And I think it's not just luck, God, of course, and just believing in yourself that anything that you put your mind through, you can do it. But I love Philippines. I mean, you've been there once, and we're definitely going to come back there. But what do you think about Philippines? Did you like it or what?
Yeah, I love the Philippines. I've never found a country where people are as kind as they are there. You want to talk about hospitality. Even people from Wisconsin can learn a thing or two from the beautiful people and culture of the Philippines. I loved everything about it. The biggest shock to me about the Philippines was that how far the US dollar stretches there. And what I mean by that is when you go out to eat, you can order the whole menu and it will be not that much money. You can stay at very amazing resorts and it doesn't cost that much. You can live like a king there, even if over here you're not a king. That part of it, if you want to come over here and stack your chips and bring them to cash in, it's a great place to retire. It's a great place to go back over to because my favorite part of the Philippines is that the ocean is warm.
I remember when we stepped foot on the ocean for the first time, and he's like, "This is ocean water?" And I'm like, "Yep." And he was like, "Why is it so warm?" And I was like, well, if you really think about it, Philippines is in the middle of the globe, meaning it's next to the equator. So climate-wise, yeah, it's gonna be a little warm. I mean, there's some parts of the Philippines where their beaches are a little colder, but I think that's the best part about it is that you can enjoy swimming and it's warm. And the coral reef, you can see it so clearly. It's so blue, it's beautiful. Yes, there's some places that are very dirty, don't get me wrong, but I just think that there's definitely a lot of beautiful hidden gems around the Philippines. I mean, we are known for thousands of different islands in there.
Yeah.
And, Philippines is one of the wondrous places in the world. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that if you have an opportunity to go travel, Philippines should be in your bucket list. Wisconsin should be in your bucket list because it's the hometown of the cheese. And trust me, it's so good, even though, we can't eat it.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm vegan, is I grew up on too much of it.
There's so much memories that we've had. We've been together now for going on 7 years, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have been married also now for a year, going into a year and 1 month, and we're very happy. I'm just really glad to be in this position where we can now share our lives with everyone. As you guys know, or some of you may know, but you should know, we have a YouTube channel, we have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have the Facebook, and we are literally racking that thing up right now. We're going viral. How many views do we have all throughout the platform?
We surpassed 1.2 billion. That's with a B. So that means about 1 in 8 people in the world have seen our videos at this point. So yeah, it's amazing. I think on each platform we're racking in 4 to 500 million on YouTube, 4 to 500 million on TikTok, 4 to 500 million on Life at Home, on Facebook, and
wow.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's a lot of fun doing the social media stuff.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong too. For anyone that's wondering if social media really does make money, it does, but it takes a lot of work. I mean, that goes out with all the jobs that you have to do. You have to learn how to do the basic things, be an expert on it, and learn how to be disciplined enough to do it every single day, get up and do it. And I think the biggest thing is doing it with a passion that you love to do it. Don't just do it for the money. Honestly, you've done so many projects, you've done so many businesses, and have experienced so much in life. We've both been through many, many, many job lines, and I feel like this social media platform is in a different level now than it was before. And I think that it's really hard for the older generation to kind of understand that you can make money in this platform because they didn't see that during their time. But I think that slowly but surely they can see that technology is definitely changing from every aspect, and I hope that everyone can see the potential and try it out. It's never too late. Some people become famous and become millionaires at different ages, and you don't have to be the smartest person alive. You don't have to be the richest, and you don't always have to have every skill set. You just have to have the determination and the love of your work.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. It really is comes down to just having some discipline with it, and to kind of touch on the point that you made of others. Don't be afraid that others don't get it, because that's what holds a lot of people back, is that the fear of judgment of other people.
Yeah.
They say, the most common thing is, I don't want to be cringe. I don't want people to see me and look that way. And my thing is, be as cringe as you can be, because you're going to get over that. And the moment you put out that first video, you're going to be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like, nobody came and attacked me like I thought they would. And all of a sudden, it starts allowing you to find your voice.
Yeah.
I'm no stranger to facing adversity and facing people who don't understand what it is that I'm doing. My first big company was a DJ company, and I had many people discredit it and try and say things like, oh, you're just a DJ, you can't make a living off of that. Check my bank account. I did more than make a living off of it.
Yeah.
You can make a living off of anything, again, if you have passion and a love for something. This is for the people that are dreamers, to the creatives. Don't let those people discourage you, and just because they say no doesn't mean no. It means to them they maybe not understood it. Mm-hmm. And the best way to prove them wrong is to go out there and do it. And that's the same thing with the social media. For those that don't understand it, I don't care. Like, yeah. I'm not doing it for you to understand it. I'm doing it because it's something I enjoy doing with my time, and I'm creating a life that I want for myself, for my family, for my future. And that might not be in alignment with a traditionalist. I don't feel like life should be traditionalist and what is normal. I don't even know what that means.
I don't think life is perfect too. There's no such thing. Like,
definitely. Yeah, just, that my main message is just, don't be afraid to bet on yourself, because at the end of the day, everyone is going to have an opinion, and a lot of times their opinion is maybe they weren't able to do it for themselves, and they don't know how to even imagine that it's possible for you because they didn't see it for themselves. But if you have a belief and a determination and want it, you'll get it. You'll get everything you want in this world.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm still learning the social media, even though I've been watching him do it now for the longest time. We started with a couple followers to 40, 50, then 100, to then start racking it at 2000s. And it's crazy. One comment or a couple comments or shares, we start freaking out about it. I don't know so much about social media. I'm still learning, but watching you go through it every single day, it sucks to be stuck on your phone for such a long time, but you're on a phone for a purpose. You're making money literally laying down sitting down in the palm of your hands. You don't have to clock in for work. You don't have to say yes or no or have to rely on a boss. You're literally in charge of your time. And I think that for me especially, my parents who are, again, it's the culture. So the mentality of like, oh, you need to have a 9 to 5 job so that you have a stable living wage or stable job and have all the benefits. You can have all of that with or without a 9 to 5. And I think that it was very hard for my family to accept that fact until now that we're kind of telling them how much we're making every month, and they're kind of just like taken back to it. And I don't think that they believe it until they saw that dollar amount and they're like, oh, like you really can make money off of this. So like now they don't force me or push me, oh, are you applying for a job? I mean, the stigmatism of Filipinos, you gotta be a nurse. Unfortunately, I was not a nurse, but I did work at the hospital. I worked in the ER, and I was a registration representative, and I've done that for a minute. And, my mom was so happy because I worked at a hospital, but I don't want to work at a place where I literally suffered depression and the stress and had to go through so much anxiety and even see a therapist. And also the known fact of the word therapy, again, the judgment behind it was such a big thing for my family because they didn't understand it. I mean, they do understand it now. I mean, I'm still trying to, linger that in. He was right about don't let judgment be a fear and hinder you from pursuing what you want to try. Because for me, I've done so much and I've made mistakes, but I feel like I've pushed so hard to be able to work hard, and now I'm really happy. I've never been happy in my life until now. Like that we're doing what we love and we're doing it together. We're doing it as a family. Literally at our home. We're here at our house and our property.
I think the coolest part of our content is that I'm not having to do TikTok dances and create skits, and it's really just documenting my life. And that's the coolest part of it, is that it's just that. And when she was mentioning that we do make money from it, yes, we do. But I was doing social media before there was even money to be made in it. And it's very important, again, that you're passionate about it and that you don't chase after the dollar right away, because if that's what you're trying to do, you got to have some time and patience with it. You're not going to build a following overnight. We talked about it where our life at home, I posted for 2 years without breaking 300 subscribers. And then it finally happened where all of a sudden, now we have hundreds of thousands. And so it's like, you have to really enjoy the journey and not only focus on the money or maybe a certain number of followers. Just do the thing that you want to do and say what you want to say. Correct. And the best advice I always have for myself, for anybody, is just start, because it's going to take you some time to figure it out, and you're going to want to enjoy the journey. And it's really about what you do every day over a long period of time that is going to equate to the success that you're chasing and allow you to get this thing that you're going after, period.
You definitely checked off every aspect of the box, of all the advice.
Yeah.
And that was actually my last question. In addition to this advice that you just gave to everyone, do you have any other advice from what we've talked about, from moving from a different town, completely starting over from nothing, and also just pursuing what you want to do in life?
What I would say about moving out to California, or any place for that matter, is that, again, don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Don't be afraid to chase the unknown. The best thing you can do is get outside of your comfort zone and take a risk. With great risk comes great reward. And you never know what you're capable of or just what's waiting for you right outside of it. And the funny part is that the universe has got you. God's got you. You'll be fine. If you walk in alignment with your best self and just follow your gut, be a good person, and just by being a good person is simply doing what you feel is right, it will happen for you. But it takes courage for somebody to say, hey, I've never been there. I don't know what that's going to be like. I might fail at that. Get excited to fail. That means you're trying new things. For everything that I do, for every one time that I might be gradually successful at it, there's 10, 20, 50 failed attempts that have allowed me. As long as you're learning from those failures, then you're doing it right. I love this quote that I saw recently, and a person said, I just feel like I'm trying to figure out who I am. And it's like, yeah, that's not something to be bad about. That means you're an adventurous person. You're out there experiencing, you're going after stuff, you're learning things. That is a point of life, is that you're not supposed to know who you are or have it all figured out. You want to be open to learning. You want to be willing to put yourself out there into situations that might be scary, because I can tell you that time and time again, whatever that fear was, the best way to overcome fear is to face it head on and go through it. And once you do that, it becomes less scary and it makes you more confident and have more courage to do the next step. Yeah. And now when I look back at older versions of myself, I'm like, how the heck did I get here? I could have never taken those steps. And you're like, oh, wait. You're thinking you're trying to jump from A to Z. You got to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G and work your way through it. Mm-hmm. And then you'll eventually get to the end and you'll get to your journey. So it's really important that, you go after it if it's something that you want to do. And also there's nothing wrong with not leaving your town. Like if you love that and you have something that you found there that is where your heart and soul wants to be involved in, then that's beautiful. And there's absolutely not one that's better than the other. It's, the quality of life is really the quality of life that you create for yourself, the people around you, the memories that you're able to create. I don't think that whether one or the other is more important, but I think if you're on the fence and you want to go after it and you're scared, then to those people I would say you got nothing to be worried about. Jump in and it'll figure itself out. The best thing I love about worrying, because I'm somebody who worries and creates situations and I run every scenario, and it's very important to remember that the version that you need to be will be born in that second when that moment happens. You can worry about it all you want, but regardless of it, you'll show up and you'll become that version of yourself, just like you have every single time that you face adversity or anything that you've worried about in the past. And we all know that when we worry about things, 99% of it doesn't come true. And so as much as you want to just turn it off, I know it's hard to just turn that switch off. A little bit of peace in your heart knowing that, hey, even if I don't worry about this, like whenever that moment does arise, I'll figure it out, because that version I need to be will be born in that very second. You got this.
Wow. Oh my goodness. If you're hearing that, I mic drop.
Don't drop mics. I'm an audio-visual guy. Unless you're a pro wrestler and you're really doing it for the shock factor of it, dropping mics is the worst thing you can do. That is the most delicate part of the microphone.
Yeah, not this bad boy.
I'll never forget some of the weddings you do, where these guys are out there like, ha ha ha, and they drop the mic after their speech, and I'm just like, now I have a giant dent in my microphone. Now every time I talk into it, the decibel tone is way off because you just messed up the whole microphone. But yes. Mic drop moment. Thank you.
Sorry, he's very what do I always call you? You're more like factual and stuff instead of just going with it.
You mean I'm gonna so I enjoy cutting through the ribbons and letting the facts talk for themselves. I'm a debater. I'm somebody who I'll happily get into a conversation with you and debate something, even if I don't care about even if I have no personal attachment to it. It's just out of my, it's fun for me to talk about things with people. And I'd say I try to be more logical or factual based.
There you go, logical
is really it. But that's what I would say about it. If you wanted to, if you want to move, go ahead and move. If you don't, that's fine too.
Yeah, I mean, I Couldn't say that any better. But I think, we're going to be ending this podcast with a bang. This is our first run through again, and I'm thankful again for you, husband.
And I'm thankful for you, my beautiful queen, my wife, my everything. I love you.
I love you too. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. We have so much more for you guys coming this next few episodes. Today we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of introduction of who Ross is. I mean, we mainly talked about Ross and a little bit of me, but I'm just again thankful that he is always on board with my crazy ideas like I am with his crazy ideas. And if you guys have any questions for us, please definitely type that down and comment below. Follow us on our social media. Come on now, baby.
It's at Life at Home would be our social media together. If you want to follow some music stuff, you can go over to @Arcadia Smith. If you want to see some event stuff, you can go over to Local Boy. Everything in between. We also have The Problem Solver now as a new page. We're still doing things at SNR Wrestling. We're creating new content every single day. So feel free to get to know us a little bit more. And yes, like she said, we both really are. I can't stress, I'm an open book. If there's some knowledge I can give, I'm the opposite of a gatekeeper. I leave that gate wide open, and all I want to do is bring more people through it, provide more financial opportunities for others. And if something I've learned, I can get you there a little bit faster, I will happily tell you. So no question is a dumb question. Feel free to ask me, utilize me as a resource. I'm very open and it actually brings me a lot of joy to be able to talk and help spread some of the cool things that I've learned throughout my years on this earth.
Yeah, you know that saying, if you don't know anything, you ask your dad or your mom. I go to this guy. Or the other way around, but catch us on our next episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have so much bloopers. All right, play it. Welcome to the Holman's pod. It's gonna be. Are you okay? This is the first time we do this. I've never done this in my life before. Oh my god, okay. Welcome everyone to the Holman's pod. Guys, it's gonna be a really good day.